Hello. Today we are going to finish our series about DACA. I wanted to give you some tips on what not to do if you are here on DACA. When we look at immigration status, there are various levels of rights that people have that help them to stay in the U.S. One of the reasons you want to stay in the U.S. is because if you are deported, you may not be able to come back to the U.S. So deportation is bad. I'm Raluca Hania. I provide immigration, business, and estate planning services to my clients. Today, I'm here with my marketing manager, Nina Clear, and we are discussing what may cause you to lose your DACA status and be deported. Thank you, as always, for your likes, shares, and comments, as this helps to boost my video so other people can see it.
Okay. First, let's remind everybody what DACA is. I know we've gone over it in the other videos, but in case people are just seeing this one only.
Yes. DACA is deferred action, meaning someone who is here illegally, specifically they came before the age of 16, will not be deported. It is an abbreviation for deferred action for childhood arrival, and it also provides a work permit.
So you've explained before that people should do everything they can to become citizens, right?
Yes. Yes, because being a citizen, as long as it was acquired without fraud, it is the only status that gives you the rights, including the one not to be deported. So DACA is an exercise of prosecutorial discretion, and deferred action may be terminated at any time with or without a notice of intent to terminate people with DACA are at DHS discretion.
And DACA, you kind of said this already, but just to be super clear, DACA does not give you any rights.
No, really. It gives you a work permit, and it states that at this time you won't be deported, but it can be ended at any time.
Does it guarantee you won't be deported while it's still in effect?
No, there are no guarantees to not being deported.
Is there anything that people can do to take away that deferred action? So even if DACA is still in effect nationwide, they could be deported.
Yes, there is. Remember that those who are approved for DACA must not have a criminal record. So if they commit a crime and they are arrested or convicted, they may be deported.
And just to clarify, is it any crime?
Honestly, to have been approved for DACA, they must not have been convicted of a significant misdemeanor, more than 3 misdemeanors, or any felonies. However, if you are arrested, that may impact your DACA status and put you into deportation proceedings immediately.
Can you explain what is a significant misdemeanor?
Regardless of the sentence imposed, a significant misdemeanor is an offense of domestic violence, sexual abuse or exploitation, burglary, unlawful possession of or use of firearms, drug distribution or trafficking, or driving under the influence, or one for which the individual was sentenced to time in custody of more than 90 days. The sentence must involve time to be served in custody, not a suspended sentence.
And do you think it would be any arrest that would get you deported?
It could be. There've been many cases where someone was arrested, for example, for a traffic violation, and they've been arrested and they were transferred directly to ICE custody.
Even if they were here under DACA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If that, whatever the offense was in the traffic, but I mean, again, this is just prosecutorial discretion, so they don't even have to take that into consideration if they don't want to.
They don't have to take their DACA status.
The DACA status into consideration, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what should you do if you are stopped by law enforcement?
So you need to know that you have the right to remain silent. If requested by an immigration official, you must show proof of your status. You do not lie about your status or show false papers. That makes it even worse. And when you ask for an attorney, which is in your rights, make sure you ask also your criminal attorney to contact an immigration attorney as well.
Is there anything that DACA recipients specifically should be aware of?
There are several cases where DACA recipients have been stopped for traffic, as I was saying before, and the officers found drugs in their car. This is often grounds for deportation. So while you may not think that having some pot or other small amounts of drugs is harmful, it can get you deported. And I highly recommend you do not or have or use illegal drugs or be in a car with someone who has drugs with them.
Okay, because I know there was a case where the guy wasn't the driver. It was his cousin driving, but he had the marijuana. His cousin had the marijuana, but he thought, oh, I don't want him to get kicked out of college. So he said it was his.
Yeah.
And then he got deported. So even if you're in a car and they're not your drugs, it can impact you because you're here under prosecutorial discretion.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
What about if there's some states now that allow marijuana use? So what about if you're in one of those states, they stop you and they find marijuana in the car?
Well, again, that's the legislation of that particular state, but immigration law is federal law, and it can be applied to all the states. And as I said before, under the federal law, you're not supposed to be in possession of illegal drugs or to do traffic with drugs and all that. So even if in a state that is legal, I would not recommend anybody. I would just still avoid anything that could get
having drugs, using drugs,
yes.
being around others who are having or
because
using them.
you're still at risk.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you for being with us today. And tomorrow we will be talking about what you should do and shouldn't do after you get your green card. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes. And please post any questions below. See you tomorrow.